there was over, I think, $1,000 raised for Waluigi alone in that bid war. So I think that Waluigi power actually made a huge difference in meeting that incentive, because even with that, there was a little tiny amount of stalling in order to get it. Might I actually get this beginning of the level? Let's go. So that was just a genius move. A+ to the games committee for thinking through that one. But okay, all right, sorry, now I actually have a run going, so it's like, wait, I have to pay attention to this game. Gonna PD just because the splits aren't up? Maybe. I mean, honestly, splits sometimes get in the way. Really, it's that I'm really excited about the fact that I should get an auto splitter soon, and I don't want to have to go back to splitting. Honestly, I think splitting makes me worse at the game, because I don't know if that's close enough. It is. Okay, we're good. Because so often, if I get off on a split, I get really nervous about it, and I get too worried about correcting it. I'm just gonna wait for this. And if I'm worried about correcting a split, guess what? I'm not worried about playing very well, so that's a little bit of a thing. See, that jump, that second jump is the one I missed live, and it threw me off because I have no idea what to do with that cycle, because like, I just don't miss that one. So that was fun. That was a whole thing to deal with. Gosh. The second part of this level, like, any of the cycles are kind of fine. This is a whole mess though, actually. Yeah, we're just struggling. This is fine. I'm not gonna reset past level 1, just level 1 I wanted to get right. The cycles over here are like short enough that you don't really have to worry about hitting a specific one. As long as you're kind of roughly there, you'll just figure something out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I still need to figure out a better way to get on that trampoline. I don't feel like I have that down. I also could checkpoint further to the right side of the screen, but thankfully it doesn't matter, and if I checkpoint in the middle, I'm less likely to just fall off the stage, which is absolutely a thing that can happen. One of the nice things about not doing any percent is I didn't have to call out that I was trying to go for a fast cycle. Like, there's a faster cycle you can hit for this 100% too, and I'm fine. It's fine. I'm not going for it. It's okay. And I don't have to worry about mentioning that because I'm usually so far off of it that it's like not even obvious that it's there. Whereas with any percent, you're just so clearly going for that one cycle, and it's kind of the only thing to talk about that like I do bring it up a little bit more. But like, look at how much I'm gonna miss this by. It's fine. We can just chill for a moment. One of the problems though is if you look at the piston on the right side of the screen, usually I use that as my cue for when to go left. I can't do that in 100% because the piston stops when you get the 100% secret, so that's a little bit of a struggle. This level feels so good when you're on cycle, and it's a little bit of a mess when you're not. This is one of those places where I had more I could have said. The backwards conveyor belts actually go at exactly your running speed, so when you're on them, you're not moving. And I think that's a really cool thing to point out, but I was so distracted by, I don't remember what Fans and I were talking about, and the fact that I was trying to explain the entire plot of this game in just this level, that I think I missed doing that. Alright, we're gonna try to actually get these correct. Like, I don't know. This is one of those ones where like, it's not difficult. I've done all of these strats before, but just my brain is sometimes off on this level, and I don't really know why. Okay, this is looking good. Dang. I think you can like skip the cycle if you just don't go for the checkpoint on that section. I don't really like not going for the checkpoint though, because like checkpoints, obviously. These are so much more lenient than I always think they'll be, and I get so nervous on them when I don't need to be. Alright, off to a better start by a lot, by the way. The thing I would have talked about on this one if we weren't doing donations is one, it's very like Donkey Kong-esque. But two, like the way the secrets work is we have to get that top platform over there, and then this bottom platform, or sorry, this bottom like box. So this one's kind of weird where there's two platforms and then just a random wall box. So I checkpoint here, go all the way backwards, and then just there's 3 dots on the wall. That's my box. I just ram my face into the wall, and that's a secret. Congratulations, game. This section, if you do that though, it lines up pretty well. You'll notice that I kind of know where, oh, now I don't. Or I kind of can know where I'm going and like jump around things a little bit predictably without having to slow down too much. That's ideally what you want for the second half of this level, but it just doesn't always happen. We're gonna do a safety route there. Go up to here, jump back. You can actually see if you're watching carefully on the top right, the secret area open, but I didn't call that out early enough. You'll notice we checkpoint as we're going up, but then we stop, and that's because we're even with the exit at a certain point. We want to sort of just warp back to where we're even with the exit. You do want to make sure you're lined up with that breakable platform or you'll miss it, and that's really sad because you get all the way there, you don't break it, and you have to redo that section again. It's just like, well, this is miserable. Okay, that was pretty clean. I sometimes forget to go get that specific secret too, so I'm glad I didn't forget there. That was terrifying. Anytime you miss anything on that giant spinner arm, you just don't have a lot of time to go fix it, so it can be pretty nerve-wracking. This is looking good, which means I have to wait for a moment. No, something was weird with that cycle. Okay, in practice I had to wait because the arm would always be in a bad spot. This is one of the spots in the run though, like as I start to get this far in, where I start to like question, did I miss anything? Do you know? Do I know? I don't know. This is where pausing, I should have my secrets 8 of 26, but it's one of those things where I don't know how many secrets I'm supposed to have. Like I don't know when I get to the right number because I'm not aiming for 26 secrets, I'm aiming for 24 of them. So I don't know where those last two are. Again, I can just watch the world record video or watch my own run. Oh no, the world record video, sorry, doesn't have all the pauses. I can just record a video where I do this and pause after every level so I know. And that'll probably be a good thing to have just so that peace of mind comes in where I'm not panicking like, did I miss something? Or if I did, I can reset. There we go. Yeah, missed that one. It is possible to die on this section, just don't talk about it. This part, it's pretty difficult to mess up, so this is actually a pretty safe ending. Usually if you die, you'll die on the part before your checkpoint lands, so it's pretty easy to redo. The only part where it gets scary is after you set that second checkpoint down, that's where dying means you have to reset the entire level. Ish. You'll still have the midway section open, but it's fine. And there's where you can see the last enemy coming through. So on that one, the spheres will stop spawning once you get the secret. It's just we usually get to the ending fast enough that you don't see that happen because we're sort of there the whole time. I'm still on cycle, by the way, so this is good. Like, I really do have every one of those like early checkpoints, not checkpoints, but like sphere enemies memorized, but we're like, I know where they're supposed to be to tell me if I'm on cycle or not. Because like seriously, this section at the top is so much easier if I'm on cycle compared to if I'm not. There I actually remember to jump. That's like the biggest thing I forget most of the time is just to jump off of that platform when I'm going through backwards, but we'll see. Giant falling section time. Gonna wait for that to go through because I think it would have been in my way. Almost missed that. That was terrifying. This is another spot where I usually forget to jump, but like we're kind of killing it right now, so that's fine. Alright, now I just need to remember this is fine. That was not at all where I wanted to land for the record. I wanted to land on a platform way further down. That section makes me nervous because a lot of times I'll actually miss diving through there, if that makes sense. That did not make sense, I think. Oh, hey, we're here. Like that tiny one wide gap over there is actually really easy to miss, and so I get nervous when I get to that point. And usually if I'm doing any percent, I checkpoint right before it because I'm only going down this area once. But obviously in 100%, I have to go through it twice, so if I miss that, I have to go back pretty far in the level, which is unfortunate, but somehow, fingers crossed, I just haven't been missing it. I actually remembered what level was coming next, so you can— oh, I already missed one though. You can see kind of what I meant to do is that you don't make this go to the right away, you actually just go through once on the right side, but we already have to go back because I missed a bunch of things. Oh well. The only nice thing is I'm not so worried about the trick. In any percent, there's like a specific cycle skip you're trying to do where you don't have to move this particular cannon back up. With 100%, we would never make that cycle because we're doing a full like set of block breaks, so I don't have to care. I'm gonna listen to my cue here though. That sounded pretty good. I might have missed one though, so we'll leave the checkpoint next to the button. No, we're good. I'm gonna make sure I set a checkpoint there. Checkpointing on these like diagonal platforms is actually really inconsistent, so I had to be super careful to do that during my run today. Okay, that sounded good. Just hop through these. Conveniently, those ones are mostly a hop apart. I panicked because I knew I'd missed one of them, and rather than sort of correctly just doing that, I wasn't sure where to go next. This one, watching the world record made me realize you can just like get so many more of those done at once than I thought I could without stopping, but now I've missed one and it's at the bottom of the screen, which sucks because I won't be able to hear when I finish the top ones. Okay, that should be all of them. We're gonna hit this bottom one here, and there's the secret spawning in. I've gotten a lot better at just not missing the secret, by the way. You can absolutely get bodied by that cannon as you're getting down to where the secret is, and it's really, really painful. That was very risky, but I'm glad I went for it. I usually wait a little bit safer on that section since it's right at the end of the level. Why is that thing there, and why did I not hit it? Oh, shoot, see? I missed this again. Backups, let's go. Second try. Okay. One of the cool things from the world record is you can actually jump to the right side of that helicopter. I had never really done that before, so that was kind of neat. Let's see where I'm at cycle-wise over here. I don't know if that was fast enough. Oh, it was! So see, you can get underneath that gap, but only if you go really fast through the cycle. And yeah, this is where I didn't quite make it back in time. I was a little bit too hesitant on getting around the corner, but this is fine. I love that this falling part works, basically. So that was a much, much cleaner beginning than we saw in the run today. Just so much smoother. I'm like weirdly nervous on this part now, though. You hear how great this music is, though? This is what we miss when we do the any % version of this level, is this jam right at the end. Alright, I don't have to do the pets. So what I've been practicing... by the way, it's faster to take the helicopter for this, but I don't want to. It's just not worth it. When I was practicing this, I would have to practice with the pets incentive in, and it's slow, so I'm kind of glad that I don't have to do that now. And it's one of those things where, like, if I'm just practicing getting to them, they're not hard to get to, so it's kind of this awkward, like, how long do I want to pretend like I'm talking to an audience? That was not even close to the right jump. How do I want to pretend like I'm talking to this audience about these pets before I just say, okay, I made it here, let's keep going. Oh gosh. Oh, this level's fine. Let's see if I can remember to do this. Oh, hi. That box. I kept forgetting that specific little, like, secret area when I was doing my practice, and it was kind of miserable. I've gotten a lot better at remembering a checkpoint on that platform because I almost never make it through. Oh, hi. That was an adventure. Okay. Up. Checkpoint on that side. On this one, I'm just supposed to fall through, so let's go. This is definitely my worst any % level right, or 100% level right now, because I just so frequently miss things. Like, I don't have a fast way to do that section. You can kind of see that it's a little bit painfully slow, so yeah, that's just a whole thing. I'm surprised that triangles on circles went well, so we'll have to see how those go for this. Oh, I was supposed to do 2. This is fine. I'm a little off route, but like, the cycles on this level in particular are pretty short in the second half, so as long as you just keep going, you're rarely going to actually feel like you're off cycle. Like, this is an equivalent cycle to what I was looking to get on, so I don't have to adjust my strategy. It's just, really, that was so rude. Anyway, I don't have to adjust my strategy so much as it's just like, well, I now am slightly slower and I know that. That wasn't too bad, honestly. We'll take that. I know, I'm sorry, I still don't know how to keep up with chat while I'm doing this run, especially with 100%. So I will catch up on everything as we get done. This is actually probably much better pace as well than my current PB, so we're gonna see if I can get this closed out. Go here, go here. Yeah. Hi everyone, hope you're having a good night. Yay! The Fatales has been so much fun this week though. It's been stressful, mostly because I stress myself out about things, but it's been really fun. And honestly, again, the host team's been doing such a good job with the event. It's one of those things where there's so much that happens that you wouldn't know about unless you're behind the scenes. But they're killing it. They're just doing so well, and I really, really appreciate that. And it's one of those things where this is my first time being a host lead. And while obviously being a host lead doesn't mean I'm responsible for like every individual person's action on the host desk, it does mean I'm like collectively responsible for the host team as a whole. And so the fact that I feel like while we've made mistakes, like I don't want to pretend like we're perfect, like we could improve. The fact that we've been doing so well, I think, has been just a really, really good point for me in terms of just confidence, and then as well celebrating that the team's bringing it. We're making it happen. I'm also getting more confident, I think, throughout the week with what my style of being a host lead is and how to best sort of work with a team of hosts. Because, like, I've helped teams of hosts before, I've been a host multiple times, but this is my first time having any sort of official responsibility, and I think it honestly helps, because I've always liked trying to do mentoring things, but I've never really had, like, a official mandate to do that, so it's been kind of cool. It's also just, like, fun to get to work with all the hosts. Like, a lot of these hosts are people I've worked with before, and it's just like fun to have them back. Like, let's go team. One of the things that I always think is really fun is behind the scenes when we're getting close to an incentive that needs to be met. So I tilt my head every time I do this. Am I doing this right? Yeah, I'm doing this right. I panicked for a second and couldn't remember if I do the same skip on 100% and any percent. This is fine. There's the one I missed earlier today, by the way. It's one of those things where behind the scenes, when we're closing in an incentive, things like that, or like an incentive's on the way but it's not met yet, sort of multiple hosts behind the scenes will oftentimes start to brainstorm together about how we can try to encourage more donations. And I honestly love that part because it just feels super, why can I not get this? It just is super collaborative. It can be stressful as well, and so it's one of those things where I try to be very careful about how I do that. I never want to be telling the host, like, you have to do this. There's very, very rare cases where, like, we'll be on a shift at that point. So I try to be very careful about saying, hey, here are some ideas of things you could try. But it feels really fun to be able to help throughout the event and not just while I'm actually on my shift. Like, I can provide ideas or guidance or other things or help support hosts as we go through. Like, one of the things that I've loved just being able to do is, if we're in the middle of stalling, I can help try to find things to stall with. It's never that I want to tell the host on shift, like, you better start talking about prizes, but I can go screenshot all the prizes and just have those ready, so as the host is looking around for what to talk about next, they have something there. They're not as, like, worried and scrambling to go find new things. Like, that's such a small thing. Does anyone actually care? I don't know, but I like that I can feel like I'm helping by doing that, even when I'm not actually talking. This is actually one of the events where I'm hosting the least. I only gave myself one shift and it was on the first day, so I've like been done hosting for this whole week now. But I still get to feel like I'm participating, and I think that's really awesome. Alright, unicycles with eyeballs and triangles. I would like to get better at this level in particular, because I feel like I still go for just like really late cycles. And like, I'm not trying to do anything too aggressive, and I know I could save a lot of time by doing maybe a little bit more. Oh, shoot. There we go. But I also hate the physics on these. So as much as I want to get better at this, I don't want to practice it, if that makes sense. Like, I would like to just magically be better at this level, even though I know that's not how it works. That was risky. I didn't think I was gonna make that, but I didn't want to stop in checkpoint. I'll be real. That was a, you know what, YOLO it, hope it works. I don't think it will, but it's day freaking 5 of the marathon. I did my run today. Let's just see what happens. All right. Oh, shoot. One of the frustrating things with 100% is you have to get this helicopter section. It is nice that in any percent you can sort of not. One of the other things is with the newer helicopter route that I'm taking, the ending sequence doesn't line up quite as well. Before, I would sort of stay in the middle of these, and so the ending sequence would line up really, really nicely with where that gap is that you have to hit for 100%, but that's no longer really the case when I'm doing this route. Seriously. You have to be so close to the edge to get that one. And the reason that makes things a little bit difficult is then, let me focus on guillotines real quick. That was close. The reason that makes things difficult is you have to adjust back from where you're at to go hit that spot. And if you're not like paying enough attention, then you just won't hit it. And it just adds an extra layer of adjusting at the end of an already pretty nerve-wracking level. All right, final level, let's do this. We hit the buttons. I can't tell if this level is easier to do while talking or while not talking, honestly. I didn't quite make this cycle. I thought I was so dead to those spikes. I didn't quite make that cycle today, and that's okay, but it's fine. I did a good job adjusting for those dots there. Oh, gosh. All right, this section. This section's gotten so much better, but here's where, like, depending on where these gears are, you can see how well I'm doing. If I'm doing really well, none of them will hit the right side of the screen before I sort of jump into that pit. That's kind of your signal that I'm really on pace. The fact that one of them bounced back before I started jumping down is the signal that I'm a bit behind. Not by much, but you know, just a little bit. It's nice that if you're on, or if I'm on my best cycle, is it gonna explode? Got it, okay, let's go. This is a legit run, we did this. If I'm actually on cycle, then I get a better pattern that's nicer. And by the way, we just crushed our PB. So this is what I mean by like, I wasn't really proud of the 2040 time. I didn't think that was a good time. For me, I knew I could do better, and just having practiced and being able to do a run with less pressure is really awesome. So, hey, sorry I didn't pay much attention to chat during that one, but this is gonna be good. Optimism is infectious, thanks. As a host team, you have to believe, because if you don't believe, who else will, right? You're setting the tone for the stream, so it's very important.